Hello everyone and welcome to round 2 of the 2021 Season 1 Championship of the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies. My name is Connery Maddock. I'll be with you for this broadcast alongside Ryan Walker for this one as we head to Sonoma across the pond here compared to the UK. Thank you very much to Hugo Luis behind the scenes and Istvan Ballo for providing us our track TV cameras here today. We've got our track information up on screen for you now. It's in the morning here in sim time at Sonoma, so that track temperature is just going to be creeping up and up over the course of the evening here in the real world side of things. But Ryan, it's the second round of a season that we've only just started here, but a championship that we as RaceSpot have been broadcasting for a very, very long time. And I gotta say, it's been a long time since I did one of these as well.
I have to say that the first round last week at Alton Park was absolutely fantastic, and we had a great battle for the win going down to the last lap between Ben Simpson and Ken Halliburton, who returned to the series last week. And I think if that's anything to go by, I think tonight we should be in for another cracker.
Yep, we should be. Just drivers getting themselves their final laps complete here in the 20-minute open qualifying session that we have. Ken Halliburton currently provisional pole position, but there are a huge gaggle of cars out there on circuit. The checkered flag has dropped, so these drivers will be able to complete the lap that they're on right now. We'll be on board with Nicholas Vaughan Roberts then in the 252 as he's heading towards the back end of the lap here in just a couple of moments' time. Sliding the back end out through the chicane. Not exactly the fastest way to go around, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's found with these cars as well. If you get sideways ever so slightly, especially in corner wrecks, you can lose a few tenths. And unfortunately, it looks like Vaughan Roberts might have lost a tenth or so. But as he comes up to the line now, it still looks to be a decent lap coming up to the line now, and he comes across and it's a 44.2, and he remains in fourth.
Remains in fourth. Adam Miles, he has a little bit of a draft ahead of him, but got too close to comfort to the car ahead of him. Spoils his final corner, so he'll have to abort his final flying lap. Patterson has headed his way across the line and ends up in 9th place on the starting grid here today. Adam Covell, P21 for him, is about as good as he's going to manage. Terry McGrother, he's going to head his way down on towards pit lane, and with that I believe that everyone is done here in terms of qualifying, so we do have to wait for that time to expire. But here is the starting grid then for round number 2 of the 2021 Season 1 UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies. It's Ken Halliburton in P1 with Benny Simonson, your winner last time out, in P2. Claire Hughes in P3 with Nick Vaughan Roberts in P4. Daniel Tufts P5. Simon Edwards starts in 6th. Adam Miles in 7th with Will Redford in P8 here today. Ewan Patterson starts 9th with Clark Williams in 10th. Kevin Budgeon in P11 with Ben Evs in that 12th spot. Christopher Miles in P13, Andrew Baranowski in P14, Dave Dowson P15, SJ Dunning in P16 here today. And you got Alan Piercy in 17th. Tony Stack lines up in P18, Dave Kirkman in P19, and Peter Cowan brings us down to the bottom end of the top 20. We've got 33 cars to get through here today. Adam Covell P21, Christopher Kane P22, Alan Patterson P23, and Chris Morris P24. Terry McGrother P25, David Clapham P26, P27 goes to Anthony Hay, and Alex Bailey lines up in 28th. And then those cars that did not set themselves a qualifying time, they'll be starting at the back of the grid. John Edwards, Seymour Harding, Cesare Rizzo, Luis Morga, and Gary Bailey. So those are your 33 cars that will take the green flag here today. A very short run through towards a very fast turn 1 before you go up the hill in towards turn 2. It can cause a little bit of congestion. But we're still under the gridding process here. Everyone getting themselves ready, Ryan, to get themselves set and just to wait for the green flag and wait for that green light. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. It's been an enthralling season so far with the 1 round that we've had in the books, but round number 2 at Sonoma here is just going to start in a couple of moments' time. It starts right now as Kane Halliburton gets away well from pole position, and Benny Simpson just has to slide back in line. Battle for P3 going on though. Claire Hughes and Nick Vaughan Roberts head side by side up the hill in towards turn number 2 for the first time. Vaughan Roberts caught on the outside, has to slide back in line in P4. Looks like most of everyone is clearing through the first 2 turns as we're at the highest elevation point on this circuit now, heading up through turn 3 and turn 3A. Everyone's clean and tidy. There's a battle for the race lead going on right now though. There's Benny Simonson looking to try and get P1 away from Kane Halliburton, but Halliburton's able to defend it. Here comes Claire Hughes, the Welshman, looking to try and get himself involved into turn 6 as he goes down the hill then. The car sliding about a little bit through here, but everyone gets through unscathed, single file. Claire Hughes going for second though.
Yep, Claire Hughes is not hanging around by any means, and as a ride on board with Simon Edwards are heading up to this, basically this double hairpin, if you like, before this tight twisted section, and you can make a move here, but you've got to be really brave on the brakes and get it done. Make sure you're in front as they're coming up to this basically one-line section, and so far so good on that one, and no incidents to report.
Yeah, a pretty clean getaway from pretty much everyone. Oh, big moment there for Vaughan Roberts. That was as sideways as you like. Coming out of turn 8A there, he's able to hold on to it. Fantastic driving from the pilot of the 252. He's able to keep himself in this one. There is a spinner though. That's Clark Williams in the green and black. Number 98 machine getting himself going now. Let's see what's happened here. Is it all on his own or is it contact with someone else? It looks like all on his own. No. Ooh. Up over the curb. He got squeezed a little bit by a car, having a bit of trouble as well. So in the end, that was self-inflicted, but you could see why.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a bottleneck effect between Williams and the other car, and unfortunately it looked like they tried to go 2x2 as they look at a replay of Ben Evans as well, losing it in the final corner, and luckily he manages to get out of the way of the oncoming cars and manages to get going again.
Yeah, well, just a couple of drivers having a couple of moments down through the order. Here's Temi McGrath. Oh, he got spooked a little bit by the car sliding ahead of him, and then bang! Heavy impact for one of those drivers that were coming up on that one. I think that was David Clapham or Anthony Hay, I believe. Not sure which of the two of those, but we return back to the live pictures then on board with Alan Piercy in P15 at the moment, as Dave Kirkman is the car ahead of him, pushing very, very wide, almost out into the dirt there, which is certainly what you don't want to do. But Kirkman able to keep it on track for now, and very defensive, covering off the inside for the right.
Yeah, it's that corner. It's very easy for some people to get tempted to throw it up the inside, and yeah, he just went to the inside and defended his line early, made sure no one threw it up the inside. And yeah, it was like Andrew Baranowski's got a bit of a trend starting to form up behind him.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's looking to try and improve position himself as well, as Dave Dowson is ahead of him, and Christopher Miles in the bright pink machine. Number 87 there, and well, if you're going to make a statement, you might as well do it in the most obvious way possible. But looking further back in the picture, you have a little bit of side-by-side action, side-by-side on the live pictures as well, as we see Andrew Banowski and Dave Dowson decide to fight it wheel-to-wheel, coming out the final couple of corners. Kevin Budgeon's also all sorts of involved in that as well, coming through those final 2 turns. Now through turn 1 and up and towards turn 2, car coming out of the pit lane might cause a little bit of a scare for these drivers, but gets well out of the way, and everyone's single file once again.
Yep, so it's basically, there's been, well, apart from some minor incidents, it's been relatively clean in the first couple of laps, and at the moment it's all seems to have just settled down ever so slightly, but I'm just looking back up at the front end game, and it's still Kane Halliburton leading, but he's not been let away that easy by Benny Simpson, and these two have managed to break away from the Lear Hughes in third place.
Yeah, you can see that battle for the race lead on the right-hand side of your screen. as we will remain with this previous battle on the left-hand side. So great split-screen action brought to you by our lovely director, as there's been a bit of an altercation further back in the pack. Will Redford is pushed very, very wide coming through the double right-hander. But he's been able to get back going now, so all is fair in that one. It wasn't a massive, massive moment, but one that could have certainly ended in tears. He's on the back of Adam Miles now, looking to try and find a way through. Miles weaving all over the track, trying to put on the defense, up in towards turn number 9 chicane, and he stays ahead for now, does Miles, but car off ahead of him, though. Daniel Tufts had a bit of a moment, so a lot of these drivers are struggling with the track limits, it seems, at the moment. A lot of oversteer moments going on, a lot of pushing wide, and a lot of actual pushing out there on circuit as well. Will Redford's gone straight into the back of someone.
Yep, it just looks like he might have just been caught out slightly by Miles just under braking, and as we're just about to look at the replay now, and it looks like I think Redford just basically closed up, and he just closed up a little bit too much and tried to close up, and Miles under braking, and what he did, but unfortunately he just carried too much speed and clipped the back of Miles, and unfortunately he's got front nose damage.
Yeah, that nose cone, that front wing completely broken off. Of course, these cars aren't too aerodynamic dependent on the aerodynamics, so it's not a major loss, but still you have to be more concerned about any suspension or wheel damage in these cars. Having a look at Benny Simonson at the moment, as that was the pass for the race lead. So while all that action was going on down in the mid-pack, the battle for the race lead has changed hands here. So Benny Simonson leads from Kane Halliburton, but it's been these two cars at the very front just getting away from the rest of them at the moment. It's about a 1.5 second gap back to Hughes. You can still see he's well in shot there, but starting to get away in terms of draft range.
Yeah, it was the same last week at Alton Park. These two up at the front managed to just break away while everyone else behind was having issues. And it looks to be the case again. But Leo Hughes is under attack from Edwards and Nick Vaughan Roberts and Daniel Tufts, so he's got a bit of a train former behind. So maybe he's not been given the chance to fully focus on what's in front of him.
No, he hasn't. Yes, have your wits about you in a series like this, especially with everyone so close. Let's have a look back to the bottom end of the top 10 then, as here is Baranowski. Oh, going to go very deep on the brakes into the final turn, looking for the insides, as SJ Dunning trying to defend him off on the outside there, has done so, but that was a bit of a surprising move there from Baranowski. Wasn't really on, really caused a bit of concern for SJ Dunning. Now Dave Dowson also on the back of this as well. Will Redford hanging his way down on towards pit lane, I assume, to get his fast repair.
Yep, it looks like it, and just watching Will Redford as well. And yeah, it looks like he just dives into the pits by the looks of it. Yeah, he dives into the pits to basically get his fast repair. And yeah, apart from that, there's again, I say it's all relatively clean at the moment.
Just a little bit, but the mid-pack seems to be where it's at right now, because there is quite I was going to say quite a considerable train. It's more like 2 or 3 trains of cars at the moment, all keeping each other close together. Thanks to the slipstream here as they head their way through turn 6. This is the sort of positions around about P14, P15 here at the moment. Tony Stack in that P14 currently towards the front of this little mini train that we have going on here in the mid-pack. Peter Cowan going very deep there into turn 7. We're on board with him now, on board with the number 99, as he has quite a range of selection as far as people to pass ahead of him. It's all about the execution though.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got Kevin Birds in front of him. He's got Stark. He's got Dave Kirkman and Christopher Miles by the looks of it. So yeah, he's got a few options in front of him to pass. And also I just spotted as well. He does a bit of real life karting, judging by the Club 100 logo.
Of course, a very popular karting series here in the UK. So Peter Cowan definitely representing that one. Just still sitting inside all the slipstream of these mid-pack runners though. Christopher Miles, you can see him in the bright pink car. Meanwhile, side by side behind him, Dave Kirkman, SJ Dunning. And Kirkman's just about being able to get himself by, but as he overcooked it into turn 2, no he hasn't. He's able to keep it on the grey stuff. Absolutely fantastic to see. So Dave Kirkman up that position. but he's overdone turn 3A a little bit there, so SJ Jennings is able to get the run back on him in towards turn 4. Another little error with a lock of the brakes into there, and Christopher Miles, has he got a slow down penalty? I think he has. He has to let everyone go.
Yeah, you don't want that around the track such as Sonoma. A slowdown around here can just basically cost you loads of time and they lose several positions like we just saw with Miles. And yeah, it looks like he's just maybe overdriving or maybe just pushing too hard, just trying to gain that extra few tenths and just stay in front of the pack. But unfortunately, that's butting him.
It has, so he gets cycled all the way to the back of this mid-pack train, not where he wanted to be, especially since he was at the very front of it for the vast majority of this race. But now he has to get through on that whole bunch of traffic, and it's not going to be an easy situation for him by any means. Having a look a bit further forward, though, this is Ewan Patterson and Daniel Tufts here, heading their way into the final corner. Of course, this is the IndyCar layout here rather than the NASCAR layout, so the final corner arrives a little bit sooner than it does on the normal NASCAR layout, where you go much deeper into that final portion of the racetrack there. But riding on board with Ewan Patterson with the number 14, has a decent run up in towards turn 2, but turn 2 is not really a massive overtaking opportunity, so he's just going to sit in line for now and wait and bide his time and see if there's a door that's going to be open in the next couple of corners. Slightly different lines by the two of them heading their way over the top of the hill, but nothing that Pattinson can capitalize on for the moment. He's just playing this very patiently.
Yeah, he's just doing the sensible thing, just playing the waiting game. And I think if he gets a great exit on the exit of this carousel, heading up to that double right-hander, I think he could possibly make a move on Tufts, but it looks like he's got a great exit. It's just a matter of can he use that slipstream and maybe try and make a move up the inside. But it looks like actually Tufts is not fighting it, and it looks like Patterson is indeed going to go for the move.
So Pattinson down the inside at turn 7, the double apex right-hander, and he looks like he's got that one signed, sealed and delivered. He's going to lose a little bit of speed off the corner here due to his compromised line, but I don't think Tufts can really capitalize on this one coming through this SS section. He might have an opportunity deep on the brakes into turn 9 though, but decides to stay in line instead. He knows that maybe going side by side with Pattinson is just going to slow the both of them down. But speaking of slowing down, that's perhaps going to be a slowdown penalty for Ewan Pattinson as he went incredibly over those inside curves of turn 9.
Yeah, he took a lot of inside curve, and it looks like he might have just got slowed down. And he done the sensible thing, he backed out of it as quickly as possible without costing Tufts too much time or holding him up too much. And Tufts has managed to regain the position, and he was there to pick it up. And yeah, he was further back in the pack as well. We've got his battle for 13th and 14th going on at the moment with Kevin Bergen getting involved. And yeah, this pack has pretty much been closer since the start of the race. And yeah, it's basically like a swarm of bees going at it.
It definitely seems to be the case side by side between Dunning and Budgeon up in towards turn 2, and Budgeon's going to look for the up and under, tries to get a nose underneath, but doesn't quite have the speed to draw himself alongside by any sort of significant margin, so he's just going to have to back out a little bit, look to fight another day, and it looks like, well, that's going to be turn 4. Looks to the inside again, going to back out of it. So Budgeon seemingly a little stuck here. He's had a couple of opportunities, but none of them, really falling in his lap at the moment. As we look even further back in this pack as well, because Christopher Miles is looking to work his way through. He was leading this train just a couple of laps ago, but after a mistake and a slowdown penalty, he got cycled all the way to the back. So he's slowly but steadily starting to pick his way through now.
Absolutely, and another person that's joined this pack now is the 32 car of Ben Evans, so he's managed to catch this pack up really quickly, and yeah, even though he's sporting a little bit of front nose damage, he's still keeping up with these guys, and yeah, it's such an amazing battle going on, and that's the thing I love about this league as well, is yeah, you might have racing going on at the front with the usual suspects, but in the mid-pack as well, you've always got fantastic battles going on at the moment, as proven here.
Yeah, this pack is rather slow in the grand scheme of things, because the low to mid 146s that they've been doing, well, there's a couple of drivers behind them that are going way faster and catching these guys up. So this train is going to be only added to rather than taken away from at the moment, as it seems like there's a little bit of a hold up right at the very front as they all try to squabble for position. It's slowing all of them down.
Yep, as they head up to turn 1 and turn 2 now, and Kurtman at the moment is still in the front of his pack, but he's been basically hounded by this pack behind him, and it's still real close at the moment. You've got the likes of Stark, Dunn, Budge and Cowan and Piercy and Miles and Ben Evans, and just looking at the size of this pack as well, there's so many drivers involved.
There is a little bit of a lock up there for Dave Kirkman, who is the leading car in this train. So causing a little bit of a scare to the cars behind. Tony Stack looking for the inside for turn 6. You can see the drivers start to get a little bit desperate. They know the positions are there for the taking, but we are starting to run out of laps at this point. We're on lap number 9. We've got about 5.5 laps to go here. Tony Stack to the outside into turn 7. Kirkman trying to defend on the inside line. More moves being made further back as well. Stack's going to lose out maybe a position here. So he goes straight from attack to defense as Dunning looks to try to find a way through. They make contact and Stack's slide across the circuit. SJ Dunning has to take to the grass and the dirt, but thankfully no one else collected in that.
Yeah, Stark done the sensible thing. He held the brakes on as soon as he spun and didn't move straight away. He just allowed the oncoming pack to just go by, and that was just unfortunate. But like you say, Conor, this pack being so close together, it was just a matter of time before something happened.
And there's get more squabbling on the live pictures as well, but we'll continue with the replay there. There's limited room, shall we say, there when both cars are on the very right-hand side of the circuit. Just the slightest tap is all it needs, and those drivers' days are pretty much spoiled at this point. But looking at that very same pack now, look to go 2 by 2 through the first sector, so it seems like the fighting definitely hasn't calmed down after that little incident. In fact, it's just gotten a little bit more feisty. Ben Evs looking all over the back of Peter Cowan into turn 4. Again has a lot of mid-corner speed, almost makes contact with the rear end, but able to keep his nose clean for the moment. Now looking in towards turn 6. This is the way you set up the run here, looking down the hill, try and get the good run off the corner, get a bit of a slingshot out, and then make the move happen on the brakes into turn 7. That must be the plan here for Ben Evs, and well, he's going to sit in the slipstream then, heading towards turn 7, dives down towards the inside, get that car stopped for the apex, and he has. A very simple pass there for Ben Evs, and it looks like he'll be able to hold into this one through the S's at least, but that's the tricky part of this track. Any pass that you make into turn 7 can be responded to coming into turn 9.
It can, and Ben Evs managed to get it stopped and get the car slowed down enough, and it was a good move by him. He didn't outbrake himself, and next person in front of him is Dave Kirkman by the looks of it. No, Kevin Burgess, sorry. And it's even though that accident happened through the S's a lap earlier, we've still got this close battle going on at the moment.
Yeah, we got a close battle for P1 as well, which might be coming to its climax in a couple of moments' time. There it is on the side-by-side, the battle for the race lead. On the right-hand side of your picture, Benny Simonson leads this one after an early pass for the race lead in the early laps of this race. Kane Halliburton, of course, did start pole position, but he hasn't let Benny Simonson get away at all. Benny, he's looking for his second win of the season, going 2 on the bounce. Perfect season on the cards for Simonson if he's able to come away with this one, but Kane Halliburton will be looking to spoil the party here in these final couple of laps.
Yep, and Benny Simonson, he's very quick on iRacing, but he has known to be, how can we say, overly aggressive in the past, and at the moment, as Kane Halliburton just closes up ever so slightly, head down to the chicane, and it looks like they've got a back marker to contend with as well.
Yeah, Ken, they didn't go for the aggressive move into the turn 9 chicane that time. Big dive on the left side of your picture though. That was a big move in towards the final corner. Well, not the final corner, I believe that was turn 7, I believe. So potential altercation down in the mid-pack, I believe involving, might have been Kevin Budgeon or Peter Cowan, I can't quite tell which. I think it was one of those white and black machines. But heading their way through turn 9 now. Kirkman's gone very wide through there, and now Budgeon's going to be able to respond. And, well, we're looking a little bit deeper. Oh, there we go. Kevin Budgeon trying to defend on the outside. Kirkman on the inside. And look at that. Ben Evs just squeaking himself through. Ever the opportunistic driver, looking to try and get the 2-for-1 special. But he might just have to settle for the 1 on the way up in towards turn 2 now. Still side by side between these drivers. Just outside the top 10. Ben Evs on the inside. Still struggling to complete this move. They're still going wheel to wheel for the best part of almost half a lap at this point, but there's the move being complete by Ben Evs. Budgeon looking to try and cut back down the inside at turn 4. Big slide on though, big lockup, big stack up behind as well. Meanwhile, the race lead battle is going on now. Kane Halliburton looking for his race lead back. He's been sitting in second place for most of this race. He started pole position and they get so close coming through the S's section, and now they look to hit the brakes into turn 9. Halliburton has the inside. Halliburton has the race lead, but Simonson's not going to give up that easily.
Yeah, absolutely not. And yeah, this is basically a repeat of the league battle from Alton Park last week in the closing stages. But these guys have to be careful because lurking in the background, you've got Leo Hughes and Simon Edwards.
Yeah, they're sitting about 2 seconds back at this point, but another little extended side-by-side battle between these two, and that time can come down oh so quickly. So Kane Halliburton back to the race lead. Benny Simonson trying to drive the wheels off of that Apex Racing team car at the moment. Trying to follow very closely, gets the back end out through turn 3A. You can see how much Benny's pushing again, an aggressive entry in towards turn 4. But maybe is he pushing a little bit too much? We still got about 1.5 laps to go, so still at least some time for Benny to come back at him. He's just going so aggressive on these entries, Ryan. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's just basically watching his steering inputs as well. He's just absolutely wrestling the car and just basically throwing it into every corner just to keep up with Halliburton. And it looks like is Benny going to go for a move up the inside? He's not going to go for it, but Halliburton runs wide, and that's given Benny Simonson the opportunity to pounce and try and make a move.
Oh, the mind games are so good between these two, because Kane Halliburton, he was scared to turn in there to turn 7, went a little bit deeper than normal, expecting Benny to go for the dive, but what Benny's going to do now is dive down the outside of turn 9. And he can't quite get it done. Halliburton holds steady for now. Coming up towards the final lap of this race, Simonson still stalking, still looking for an opportunity. Early defense to the inside for the final turn for Halliburton. Simonson looking for the big wide arc to get the speed off the corner, coming to the 1 lap to go signal. Fantastic stuff between these two in the dying moments of this race, but now it all comes to a head. Remember, Leo Hughes and Simon Edwards are closing in on them because of the frantic fighting. You can see them in the back of the shot right now. Look at how much speed Simonson has coming through turn 2, but no space to be able to capitalize and bring it side by side for turn 3 or turn 3A. This is a portion of the track devoid of overtaking opportunities unless you send it down the inside at turn 4, which is exactly what Benny Simonson is trying to do at the moment. Kane Halliburton's trying to make that the widest skip barber car you've ever seen, as Simonson makes it side by side up through towards turn 6, then this long downhill left-hander. Can Benny Simonson hang it out to drive through here? He's got the inside coming off the corner. He's got the speed as well. Fantastic stuff between these two, but it's still all undecided. On the way into turn 7, Benny Simonson squeezes Kane Halliburton towards those apexes, not giving him a lot of space, but Halliburton's still able to make it work somehow, as there's still half a car length between them. Coming up through the S's section, Simonson's going to lose a head of steam here. Down the corner, he has the inside for the turn 9 chicane, which has been the favoured line. Are they going to make contact? There's a little bit of contact. Halliburton squeaks through, and now Leo Hughes and Simon Edwards are looking to try and sort themselves some spots on the podium right now, because here comes Leo Hughes down the inside. Simonson looking on the race leader as well, but Halliburton's been able to hold on. Fantastic stuff, fantastic defense from the driver of the number 5. Kane Halliburton wins round 2 at Sonoma.
Wow, an awesome final lap. That was yeah, that was so close to ending up in disaster, but thankfully both of those guys left just enough room, and Kane Halliburton crosses the line to take a well-deserved victory.
Awesome stuff at the very front of the field. Mid-pack as well gave us some excitement in the very middle of the race. Might give us some excitement towards the flag here as well, but Kirkman's going to be able to secure P12 over Peter Cowan. That was a fantastic battle basically all throughout the race there. Tony Stack coming home P number 19 at the end of the day here. But wow, what a finish! What a finish at the very front. There's Clark Williams coming home P22 due to early problems, but he would have definitely been fighting for a top 5 finish if things had gone his way. But there we go. The race is done. Round number 2 for the 2021 Season 1 UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies is, well, the results look a little bit like this.
Yep.
Here we go. Kane Halliburton, P1. And is your second different winner in 2 races so far this season, stealing the perfect run away from Benny Simonson, who was your winner in round number 1. Sir Hughes with a podium, and Simon Edwards in P4. Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in P5, Ewan Patterson P6, Daniel Tufts P7, and Adam Miles in P8, Adam Baranowski, excuse me, in P9, and Dave Dowson in P10. Ben Evs in P11, Dave Kirkman P12, Peter Cowan P13, Kevin Budgeon P14, Christopher Miles P15, SJ Dunning P16, Adam Koval in P17, P18 goes to Will Redford, Tony Stack finishes in 19th, and Christopher Kane P20 today. P21 goes to Clark Williams, John Edwards P22, Chris Morris P23, Terry McGrother in P24, P25 goes to Anthony Hay, then it's Seymour Harding, Alan Piercy, David Clapham, Alex Bailey and Alan Patterson down to the top 30 cars, and then you have, the last 3 cars did not take the start, which is why they are not classified. But what a finish, Ryan. What a finish. That was absolutely incredible between Kane Halliburton and Benny Simonson. It was very close racing. It was pretty fair racing, although these two have been known to get the elbows out from time to time. But I don't think we could have asked for much of a better last lap.
Yeah, that was a fantastic last lap. And both of these guys were just absolutely going at it, and they racing each other hard but fair, and Benny Simonson, he was just absolutely throwing that car into every corner, just trying everything to get by Kane Halliburton. And I think Benny Simonson, he's by the sounds of it on the game chat, he's slightly frustrated, but it's just the way it goes. And Kane Halliburton, I think anyway, he defended hard, but he defended fair, and I think anyway took a well-deserved victory.
Look at this big committed move outside of turn 6. You don't usually see that, and you don't see a run on the outside of the turn 6 become a run on the inside on the exit of the corner, but it's still a long way around here for Simonson, so he's always up against it, even though he holds a marginal car length advantage into turn 7. He has to, well, he broke a little early there compared to what Halliburton was able to on the inside nonetheless, so maybe Simonson could have gone a little bit deeper there around the outside of turn 7, but wheel to wheel coming through the S's, and then Simonson has this best opportunity of the lot to go down the inside at turn 9. There's a little bit of contact there which spits Simonson out, but I think that was always going to happen when you're coming through such a tight and twisty section of track two abreast. Yeah,
absolutely, and especially when you're in a battle as well. And it looks like Benny Simonson was thinking about sending out the inside, and Kane Halliburton, I think he should count, in a way, count his lucky stars as well, because Leo Hughes and Simon Edwards closed up to Benny Simonson, so it kind of distracted him.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And, well, maybe if that spark had lit the fire a lap or so earlier, then maybe Sir Hughes and Edwards were might have been able to challenge for a race win, but it didn't pan out that way, unfortunately for them. But credit where credit's due. Kane Halliburton, what a defense in those final couple of laps there to hold on to the race win. And remember, he started pole position. He fell back in the early runnings of this race, but that didn't faze him. He was just happy to sit there in P2 and wait for his opportunity, and that just shows such class.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows that why Kane Halliburton's on iRacing now is probably, what I think anyway, one of the quickest drivers up there. Maybe, yeah, he doesn't get as much recognition as the likes of, say, your really quick drivers like the pro drivers in the Porsche Esports Super Cup, for example. But yeah, in this league anyway, he's probably one of my favourites to watch. As it looks like we've got some people on for an interview.
Yep, we absolutely do, as we will bring in Simon Edwards as the higher placed finisher of the lot of them, as Simon in the commentary booth right now. And well, Simon, it was a P4 at the end of the day, not quite able to get onto the podium, but a respectable gain of 2 positions from where you started. Do you feel good about that?
Yeah, definitely. Benny and Kane were a cut above everybody else. I could hold on to clear, but it's so difficult to get a good run here without making a big dive. So I chose to stay behind and see if they would fight enough that we could catch them, which happened, but a lap too late, really. It happened too late, but it was a good race. It was probably boring from your point of view until the end, but it's a challenge to go at that speed, so I was happy with my pace.
Yeah, well, a couple of mid-pack fights, I think, kept us entertained during that one, as things were a little bit calmer at the very front of the field, at least until those final couple of laps. But, of course, were P6, I believe, in round number 1, and you've got an improvement up into P4 this time around as well. So how would you rate your start to the season as far as these first 2 rounds are concerned?
They might be my drop weeks, or I hope they're my drop weeks. No, I'm good with anything. I'm just trying to enjoy it. Trying to not put too much pressure on. Trying to not get annoyed with anybody. You know, I've won the championship twice now, so it's all you know, it's all familiar ground now. So I'm trying to just stay calm.
You're just giving someone else the opportunity to go for the championship, right? That's hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay, right? But
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
It's okay. It's okay. But again, is there anyone you wanna anyone or anything you want to shout out before we move on?
A shout out to you guys as usual. You've been great. I've been watching the broadcasts as usual. And they're always great. I never watch the interviews back though, so I daren't listen to myself. But yeah, and my sponsor, Masternaut, as well. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Thank you very much, Simon, for joining us, and best of luck in your next race.
Thank you.
Oh, there we go. That was Simon Edwards finishing P4 here today. Of course, has multiple titles under his belt, but maybe a slightly more relaxed start to the season for him, Ryan.
Yeah, it's Simon. You can tell by the way he was talking. He just feels a lot more relaxed. He's not putting pressure on himself, like you said. He's just going out there having fun and just enjoying it. And I think tonight, he wasn't up on the podium, but I think it was a really great race from him.
All right, now we'll head on and talk to, I believe, Dave Kirkman. So, Dave Kirkman joining us in the RaceSpotTV commentary booth. And Dave, you came home, well, sort of mid-pack here today. You had a modest improvement on where you started. You started in P19, you finished in 12th. How was it trying to pick your way through on those, well, mid-pack trains, shall we call them, in the over the course of the race?
Well, I was actually one of them. I think I was the slower guy of Ben Evans, Peter Cowan, Kevin Budgeon, and SJ Dunning as well. That basically, I think I had 8 people behind me at one stage, and the pressure was on, so it was very difficult to keep it up. And then, yeah, I had I think it was Tony Stack behind me, and I think he got caught up with SJ. So unfortunately, he didn't finish in the end. But I was having a very good race with Tony up until that point. And then I managed to keep Ben behind me for quite a large part of the end of the race, apart from the second to last lap, I think it was, when he got past me. So yeah, it was good race. I used Ben to try and basically keep my position from everyone else behind me then, because he was way faster than me, but I could keep in his toe.
Yeah, you can see the, well, you can't see this right now, but on the B-roll shots that we have with the slow motion on in the background, you can just see you holding up the entire train. And of course, it's a valid strategy. But would you say this is this is a particularly easy track to try and hold position?
It's a very difficult track to pass on. It's very easy to defend here. When people get the run on you, basically the next corners are easy for you to kind of position your car. So you don't get overtaken, I think pretty much everywhere. So yes, I'm pretty sure I annoyed a few people today because they were frustrated they couldn't get past me. But that's what racing is. You've got to try and get past. And Ben did. He managed to get past me. He was a faster driver than me, and he found his way through in a clean way. So yeah, congrats to him for getting past me. And hopefully I won't be a mobile chicane for everyone in the future, and I can pick my pace up. But yeah, it was good fun for me.
Well, it's the responsibility of those faster guys behind you to try and find a way through. You can't just open the door and let them all go. But
absolutely,
of course, it's on a positive finish for you at the end of this race, round number 2. How's your season looking as far as that goes? Are you expecting more sort of near top 10 results, or is there something different on the horizon?
Well, that's what I'm aiming for. I mean, last season I tried to finish in the top 10. I think my best finish is 8th in the season before. So yeah, basically if I can be around the top 10 at the end of the season, then that's really where I want to be. So that's what I'm hoping to get to. Obviously this is just the first race, so we'll see how the season goes. There's a lot of luck involved as well in terms of positioning, but you've got to make the most of the opportunities, as you say. And this isn't something where you're going to just let people go through because they're faster than you. You've got to race for position, and I'm going to defend for my position as much as anything as well.
Absolutely. We're definitely looking forward to it a little bit later on in the season. But thank you very much for joining us, Dave, and best of luck in your next races.
Okay, thank you very much.
There we go. That was Dave Kirkman finishing in P12 here today, Ryan. And it just goes to show, if you can hold track position, it doesn't matter how fast the guys behind you are.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. That's the thing, especially in this series. You might have quick drivers behind you, but you don't have to jump out of the way and just let them go. You're entitled to fight for your position. I love Dave's attitude of if you want the position, you've got to pass me for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fighting talk. But Ryan, you can take this away now because we got our final interviewee, and that will be Will Redford, who finished in P18. So we'll bring Will up into the broadcast booth. And Ryan, you've got the questions.
Yeah, joining us in the booth, and unfortunately, it looked like you were having a great race just outside the top 10, battling with Adam Miles, but it just looked like you closed up on him under braking, and it just looked like you were caught out under braking, and just slightly nudged the back of him and got a front nose damage. But I guess 18th is still a decent result, considering.
I guess it's an alright recovery. But again, it's not great. I mean, I've not really enjoyed this track the full week. It's just something about it doesn't really suit me. Like qualifying, nowhere near my optimal time, but it still put me in the top 10, so it was all right. And then during the race, because there's no markers for braking for that corner, you can't even see the apex. I just misjudged my braking in the draft and ran straight into Adam, and then made the mistake of pitting, and I lost 30 seconds to where I was, and yeah, just a bit of a disaster really.
Yeah, I mean, this car and track combination, what did you think of it? Was it a one that you would like to come back to?
Like I said, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't. Some parts of the track were good, but I don't think this layout is the best choice. Purely because most of the big braking zones, there's no markers, it's hard to judge braking, there's nowhere to really stuff your nose in and get an overtake done. Yeah, maybe a different layout. You know, the one that goes with it goes straight at the chicane, and then it's got the last corner. I don't know, but yeah, didn't suit me.
And looking ahead to Suzuka next week, is it a track that you really like, or is it one of those tracks again that's kind of you'd rather miss?
I've not driven it yet, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Because last time a track was like that, I won the race. That was Nürburgring, so we'll see. Looks like pretty drafty track like Spa, so it should be pretty easy to keep up. Some good racing should be produced.
I'm looking ahead to the rest of the season. What's your aims or expectations? Are you looking to finish inside the top 10, or is it just basically take it race by race and just whatever happens?
Last season I finished 4th, and that was with a few DNFs from stuff I can't control, like my PC crashing. I'd like to beat that, but there is a few people doing it this season that weren't doing it last season that are better. So we'll see. I'll be happy with a top 5.
Well, again, it's not the race or result you wanted, Will, but 18th place is still a salvageable result, and hopefully you can finish inside the top 10 at Suzuka next week.
Cheers, guys.
That was 18th place finisher Will Redford joining us, and I believe that's I believe that's it. That's it, Connery.
Yep, it absolutely will be. And, well, it's been an absolute pleasure to be back in the Monday Night Skippys commentary booth. It's been a very, very long time for me. I remember this series was basically what got my start as far as sim racing commentary was concerned. And, you know, I'm thankful to everyone for giving me that opportunity. I've come a long way since then. But here's the rest of the schedule up on screen. We've had Alton Park, we've had Sonoma, and now we head to Suzuka in the new year, January 4th, for round number 3 of this 2021 Season 1 Championship. I can't wait for what is basically one of my favourite tracks in motorsport, Ryan.
Yeah, Suzuka is one of my favourites as well, and especially that fast left-hander before the final chicane, 130R, is one of my favourite corners at Suzuka. It's just one of those tracks, if you can take it flat out and nail it, it just feels so rewarding. And I think this track with the Skip Barbers and the Monday Night Skippy League is going to be absolutely fantastic.
I think it's going to be great as well. We can't guarantee that the two of us will be on the commentary for that one, but it's been an absolutely fantastic event indeed. The first 2 rounds are done here for the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies, but remember, same time, same place next week. We will be heading to the land of the rising sun. We head to Suzuka, Japan for round number 3. I've been Connery Maddock. That's been Ryan Walker. Thank you to Hugo Luis for all of the behind-the-scenes work he does here at RaceSpotTV. And, of course, this is Van Ballo, TrackCams22.com for those Track TV cameras. But we'll see you again next week, and you don't want to miss it because Suzuka is going to be amazing.